Steven, he was having a call from the Lord that he must go to a far country. But at that time, he didn't know what the meaning was, except that he had to go out and learn the language and the gospel and get a new armor. A different armor represents growth. He keeps growing until he moves to a very different country, the land where he was called, and he meets his ultimate challenge to live in a dark world and for him to become a leader to share the gospel. I started drawing manga when I was 16 years old, not so that I could become famous or rich, but the main purpose of the manga is that children, teenagers, and a lot of people would know who their creator is. Japanese manga are comics. There are a series of comics and cartoons that people would keep and collect of each series. And these are very popular here in Japan. And their messages are usually about violence, mostly about adventure, romance, action. But mine will have the love of Jesus Christ. Steven reminds me a lot about my childhood and how God has been helping me to grow. From 1 to 16, I grew up in South America. My parents are missionaries in South America. Ever since I was little, the doctor said that I would not be able to speak any other language because of my diagnosis, autism. Autism really is a brain disorder. A lot of autistic people are very non-social. They would not think that the world belongs to all people or to God. But the Steven that you're seeing right now has a different view. He sees a lot of people, and life is all about serving the Lord and to love others. Just like the Lord can heal the blind, the Lord can have the mute speak, and the Lord can have the crippled walk, so can the Lord have a person with a disability. The person that cannot speak very much can speak almost 5 languages fluently. I would never imagine that I would really speak Japanese and become a major part in this church in Japan. Well, here in Japan, I work as a volunteer missionary to a Filipino-Japanese church, and I work not only as a translator for the pastor, I also teach English to Japanese children, and also I help the youth in their ministry. I also play a band in the church. I am the keyboard player. Japan is not a Christian country. Buddhism has become a very major religion. In Buddhism, many people would approach to the statue and they would touch the statue, believing that when they touch the parts of the body, that they themselves will be healed. We must pray for Japanese people so that people will know the truth and that people would turn away from Buddhism and follow the Creator alone. Like the Steven, I have been given a new armor. So far of living in Japan all by myself, I learned to depend on the Lord more than myself. I've learned how to love others and respect others. But the most important thing of what I have overcome is to accept of who I am and what am I made for by the Lord. I was made to serve the Lord and to tell people about Christ and to share them the testimony of how God healed me, to let people know that people who have disabilities can have the hope of serving the Lord. Not all of us were made the same. So those who are watching, never give up. Never lose hope, because God is moving in your life. And that's what the Steven series is really all about.